Good evening. We begin tonight with growing concerns over the U.S. air travel system, as the ongoing government shutdown threatens major disruptions. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned today that flight reductions could escalate significantly if the funding lapse persists. Speaking at an event on Friday, Duffy suggested that while a 10% cut might have been an initial estimate, the situation could worsen, potentially leading to 15 or even 20% of flights being grounded. He later clarified that he was speaking theoretically, but the warning underscores a critical vulnerability. The core of the problem lies with the nation's air traffic controllers. As essential federal employees, they are mandated to work through the shutdown but are doing so without pay. Secretary Duffy voiced concerns that an increasing number of these highly skilled professionals may be forced to leave their posts for a paying job. This would create a severe staffing shortage, compromising the safety and efficiency of the national airspace. The warning comes as federal officials have already been forced to cut flights at major U.S. airports today, causing delays and cancellations. Hubs in the Northeast, like LaGuardia and Newark, have historically been sensitive to such staffing issues. With the busy holiday travel season just weeks away, the prospect of a 20% reduction in flights is raising alarms for travelers and the airline industry, adding immense pressure on lawmakers to find a resolution. The challenges facing federal agencies extend beyond the Department of Transportation. The Department of Homeland Security is now exploring a controversial new approach to immigration enforcement. DHS, along with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is weighing a plan to hire private bounty hunters to locate and track down undocumented immigrants. According to a request for information posted on the federal contracting portal on October 31st, the administration is gauging interest from private firms for what it calls skip tracing and process serving services. Skip tracing is the process of locating a person whose whereabouts are unknown, while process serving involves delivering legal documents. The document outlines a need to use government and commercial data, as well as physical observation, to verify addresses and investigate new locations. The scale of the proposed program is significant, with the request mentioning providing contractors with case data for up to 10,000 individuals at a time. The administration's stated goal is to increase efficiency in locating individuals who may have been ordered for removal. However, the proposal is already drawing scrutiny. Critics are voicing concerns about the accountability and oversight of private contractors performing a law enforcement function, raising questions about the potential for abuse and the protection of civil liberties. The idea of incentivizing captures with bonuses has also been flagged as particularly contentious. From a controversial proposal at Homeland Security, we turn to a formal investigation launched by the Department of Justice, this time targeting the nation's food supply chain. The DOJ has officially opened an investigation into the country's largest meatpacking companies over allegations of beef price manipulation. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed the probe today, following a public call for action from President Donald Trump. In a post on his Truth Social platform on Thursday, President Trump stated that he had directed the DOJ to look into illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. He accused foreign-owned companies of artificially inflating beef prices, harming both American ranchers and consumers, and insisted that action must be taken immediately. Attorney General Bondi affirmed on the social media platform X that the DOJ's Antitrust Division, led by Assistant Attorney General Gail Slater, is working with the Department of Agriculture to examine the industry's practices. The investigation comes after years of complaints from ranchers and agricultural groups. They have long alleged that because the beef processing market is dominated by just a few major corporations, those companies have an unfair influence over the prices they pay for cattle and the prices they charge in grocery stores. If the investigation uncovers evidence of illegal price fixing, it could result in massive fines and court-ordered changes to the industry. While the Justice Department scrutinizes corporate practices, it is also moving forward with a politically charged investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. In a major development, a federal grand jury has issued subpoenas to several former top intelligence and law enforcement officials. Fox News first reported that former CIA Director John Brennan, former FBI Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok, and former FBI lawyer Lisa Page have all been served. The subpoenas are part of the Justice Department's ongoing investigation into the origins and conduct of the FBI's original Trump-Russia investigation. According to sources, the grand jury is convened in the Southern District of Florida, and the probe is being supervised by U.S. Attorney Jason Reading Quinones. The move signals a significant escalation in the long-running inquiry. Law enforcement sources indicate that this is just the beginning, with as many as 30 subpoenas expected to be issued in the coming days. This development follows the indictment of another key figure from that era, former FBI Director James Comey. Comey has been charged with making false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. He has pleaded not guilty, and his trial is scheduled to begin in January. The serving of subpoenas to Brennan, Strzok, and Page, all central figures in the early Russia probe, suggests prosecutors are focusing on the highest levels of the intelligence community of that time. Finally, we turn to the Supreme Court, which has stepped in at the last minute to intervene in a case with immediate consequences for millions of Americans. The U.S. Supreme Court issued a late-night order on Thursday, temporarily halting a lower court's decision that would have compelled the federal government to provide full funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, for the month of November. The administrative stay was issued by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. This type of order does not rule on the merits of the case, but serves as a temporary pause, giving the full court more time to consider the government's urgent appeal. The legal battle escalated quickly. A federal district judge had initially ordered the government to ensure the food stamp program was fully funded, a decision prompted by funding uncertainties. The government immediately sought to block that order, but a federal appeals court denied its request. That denial left the administration with no other option but to make an emergency application to the nation's highest court. The case, titled Rollins versus the Rhode Island State Council of Churches, centers on the government's obligation to fund the program. The Supreme Court's temporary halt now leaves the status of November's benefits in a state of uncertainty for the millions of low-income families who rely on them. The justices will now review the filings before deciding on the next steps.